Atlanta United Fan TV. It's preseason. It's the third match, and it's against IF Elfsborg. 1-1 at the end. PT with the goal. What'd you think of the match, man?
I mean, it's a preseason friendly. The last 15, 20 minutes weren't the best in the world, but hey, I mean, the goal was fantastic. I think there were some positive bits in there. You're not going to be slick at this point in time in the season. It's only, your third practice match, and guys are more working on their fitness and trying to learn each other. But there were some positives. I mean, it's the first match you've got to see them play from outside of highlights from some of the new guys. I think Brooks Lennon looks good. I think that Emerson Heineman looks a lot better than I kind of expected. Yes, it's just preseason, but you can see that he has a very positive influence on the attacking side of the game for this team. And there were some slick little, 1-2s through the middle of the park, which I thought was interesting. And the goal, if Pity Martinez is banging them in with his right foot from outside the box this season, MLS is going to have a problem.
Yeah. Barco getting just hacked down left and right on countless
it's
fouls.
Standard at this point, right? I mean, him and Pity Martinez, although the one good thing about this match that I have to say is that if you could see people getting booked for those fouls in MLS and in CONCACAF Champions League this season, that'd be great because the referee was not afraid to be handing out bookings. I mean, Elfsborg had a guy get sent off who was a sub in the second half, and it's just like, yes, it's a friendly, that's silly, but at the same time, it's just like, you've got to protect your players, and this is something that if you watch a lot of Atlanta United, you're kind of used to because they consistently are just quicker than everybody else, and they turn on a dime, and both PT and Barco had some really nice dribbles and little movements where they just shimmied past guys and were immediately hacked down.
Yeah, maybe this is a good kind of really a good warm-up for CCL because of the nature of the match. It was pretty CONCACAF-y, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was really foul-y. I mean, it was spicy for a friendly, and I don't know if necessarily if Elfsborg are that kind of a team, but they were definitely getting stuck in on their challenges. They were definitely leaving a little bit on the players, but yeah, I mean, as long as you get out of it without injury, which Atlanta United did, then yeah, I think it's good because you kind of have to get used to a rough and tumble type game, and like you said, very CONCACAF-y. I mean, it's going to be a very similar game when they play Montagua next month, or this month, I guess, in a couple weeks' time. It's crazy. It's now February, January. It literally took a lifetime. But yeah, so it was positive. I mean, I think there's still some things in terms of once they get into the final third, and a few times the build-up play out of the back was a bit sketchy, although there were other times it was really quite smooth and they passed right through the press. But I still think, just looking at it, I still think there's a midfielder that's needed. I think someone who's calm on the ball, who can really bring the ball, out of, in possession when you get it. I don't think that team has that right now. That was obviously what Darlington Nagbe was so good at last season. And, I think Eric Remedi, he has his moments, but I don't necessarily think that's the best use of his talents. I think he's better suited further up the pitch, getting stuck into tackles, making, himself just annoying to the other team. And he's decent in the final third, but as far as the midfielder to sit deep and have the center backs play the ball on defeat and then bring the ball forward, I just don't think that's what he is. I just don't think that's what he does. And Emerson Heineman, same thing. I think Jeff Lorenotes is your only player that does that, and you need someone better, whether that's a Villasanti, whether that's someone else, who knows. But I still think that's something that this team needs if they want to really be the best that they can be this season.
Yeah. I mean, and it is also the third match in 7 days, essentially, as well. So you could see the fatigue, and
Absolutely.
you could see definitely that they weren't at their best, especially kind of in the second half for sure.
Yeah, and then you start seeing the subs come on, and I think that Mulroney, he's decent. He's got a little bit of change of pace, and he's got a little bit of trickery with his feet, so that'll be interesting. He does remind me a little bit of Dion Pereira in a sense when it gets to the end product, but if he can work on that delivery and beat the the first man and get the ball into the box, I think he could be a tricky customer out wide. So we'll see what we get from him, but I'm actually quite excited to see what Brooks Lennon has to offer. He showed me a few things so far, and yes, it's preseason, yes, it's just friendlies, but he seems to have a decent connection so far with Joseph Martinez, and his delivery on crosses is pretty dang good, and he has a good reading of the game, when to get forward, and he does something that Gressel necessarily didn't do, which was get to the byline. He gets to the byline and then will cross the ball into the box.
With consistency.
Yeah, with consistency, and that's something that not necessarily a problem, but it just wasn't Julian Gressel's game. But if you can do that, it really causes the opposition a whole lot of problems. So it'll be interesting to see. And then you have guys like George Campbell, who is just put on weight and is an absolute unit for his age. So we'll see what he has to offer. But, it was good to see some of the other players get some minutes, But, again, preseason, we'll see what happens. Decent result. It's a draw. Fitness is the most important thing, and no one got hurt.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.